Good morning, and thank you so much for coming. First, I want to thank Senator Robertson, Representative Tyler, and Ottawa County Clerk Dan Kruger for partnering with us on today's announcement. I'd also like to announce those that are joining us: Representative Marty Nolenberg, Representative Brad Jacobson, Representative Tony Forlini, and Representative Cindy Denby. When I was elected Secretary of State, one of my top priorities, in addition to streamlining services, cutting costs, and improving customer service, was to ensure integrity in our election system. To me, there is nothing more important to America, to our values, to our democracy, than secure and fair elections. It's important that every citizen who wants to register and vote can do that so that they can have a say, they can have a voice. That's why I'm very pleased to announce our SAFE initiative, which stands for Secure and Fair Elections. Our goals are clear: tougher campaign finance laws, cleaner voter rolls, and safeguarding the integrity of our election system. The SAFE initiative achieves those goals, moving Michigan's election system forward through a proposed legislative package, new Secretary of State policies, and expanded use of technology. As to campaign finance, if recent headlines have taught us anything, it's that our campaign finance laws need more teeth. We have to fight abuse, close the loopholes, demand more transparency and accountability. Our SAFE initiative does just that. We're going after the worst offenders who thumb their nose at our reporting requirements. Our new laws will make some violations a felony and even require forfeiture of funds. As to discourage efforts to deceive voters, such as last year's fake Tea Party we exposed in Oakland County, will require more disclosure so it's clear to voters which groups are funding these efforts. When we talk about security and fairness, nothing is more important than the accuracy of our voter lists. In 2008, the Pew report on the states showed that Michigan had 102.54% of the eligible electorate registered to vote in the state. It really doesn't add up, and it indicates vulnerabilities in our system. Some of the people on what's called our qualified voter list really aren't qualified at all. They're deceased, they've moved out of state, and some of them are not U.S. citizens. Under the SAFE initiative, we're using Social Security death records on a weekly basis and other databases to remove those who have died, including those who have passed away out of state. So far this year, we've removed 30,000 deceased voters, registered voters from the rolls, and we're in the process of confirming 20,000 more. We also believe we have thousands of non-citizens on our voter rolls. Prior to 2008, under federal law, nearly all driver's license applicants in the Secretary of State branch offices were offered a voter registration application, regardless of citizenship. We want to use federal Homeland Security, Social Security, and immigration databases to help us remove non-citizens from the rolls. Those federal agencies have refused our request or failed to even respond. Unfortunately, they're the only ones who possess the citizenship data. Under SAFE, we're working with Congressman Candace Miller, a former Michigan Secretary of State, on a way to require the federal government to share citizenship status information to ensure our records are as accurate as possible. We've also changed our policy so we can protect the integrity of the voter rolls. Today, at our branch offices, we make it very clear, both verbally and in writing, that only U.S. citizens can register to vote. Another challenge relates to about 70,000 residents a year who move out of Michigan. Under current federal law, even though they've moved out of the state and applied for a driver's license in another state, we have to wait up to 4 years to remove their names from our voter rolls. That doesn't make sense at all. We're also working with Congressman Miller to get the law changed so we can remove the names of former Michigan residents. Additionally, we're working with other states to identify people on the registration voter list in more than one state. We've created an election crimes unit with the assistance of the Attorney General's office and Bill Schuette. The unit will include an election day response team and a hotline. Most recently, we became aware of a case involving a couple who were registered to vote in both Michigan and Florida. They're alleged to have voted in both states in the same elections since 2002. Unfortunately, the statute of limitations had expired and they could not be prosecuted. Finally, we're also working to safeguard the integrity of the process. In 2008, more than 2,800 people voted in Michigan without having to show ID in the registration or election process. We are going to close that loophole. As to the absentee issue, we've also proposed no reason absentee voting to make it more convenient for voters. This will be paired with the same photo ID and affidavit rules now required for those that come to their local precincts to vote. We also need to take a hard look at voter registration irregularities on the front end of the system. We saw problems with Acorn, which turned in thousands and thousands of bogus registrations to clerks across the state that clogged the system. One worker in the Grand Rapids area was charged criminally with providing false voter registrations. Our proposal requires voter registration organizations to be certified with our Bureau of Elections. We would also provide training so that the registration drive workers know what Michigan laws are. At the same time, we're taking responsibility to encourage everyone entitled to vote register so they can celebrate their freedom by voting. Our effort includes a registration reminder postcard sent to every 18-year-old in the state of Michigan. We are also providing registration drives at college campuses using our mobile office, and we ask everyone who comes into our branch offices who isn't registered if they want to, with the understanding that they must be a U.S. citizen. Some of the other SAFE proposals include expanding use of electronic poll books and technology to reduce clerical errors, better ballot security, consistent election worker training, fighting ballot coaching at residential nursing homes, and post-election audits. I need to be very clear on something. Our Bureau of Elections, as well as our local clerks and the election workers in the state, are very committed and dedicated to doing an exceptional job on the front lines of our elections. But there's always room to improve. Look at the system, make sure election officials have the proper tools. That's what we're doing here, making Michigan elections even more secure and more fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Johnson. Our next speaker is Senator Dave Robertson of Grand Blanc Township.
Thank you very much, Secretary Johnson, for giving me the opportunity to show my support for the package of legislation that we're introducing today. I'm happy to be a partner with you in this reform effort. I think that as was mentioned, we have a good election system that we simply want to make better. I think the importance of increasing election disclosure is crucial, and I think the new measures that are suggested here that compel compliance with the Act are necessary. Our campaign finance laws have always been based upon a reasonable goal of disclosure based upon the public's right to know. The new bills guarantee due process in these matters, and penalties to guarantee have a strong deterrence for failure to file and failure to disclose. I think these measures are reasonable. In maintaining the quality of our voter file, which is absolutely crucial to maintaining the integrity of our election system, and with it, public confidence in our election process. I, as chair of the Local Government Elections Committee, I look forward to taking these bills up in very prompt fashion. I don't have a precise date yet, but it will be in the very near future, probably within the next few weeks, I should think. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Our next speaker is Representative Sharon Tyler of Niles.
I too want to thank Secretary Johnson. and my colleagues in the legislature for their leadership and collaboration as we work together to safeguard the integrity of the elections process in Michigan. It is important that we protect the ballot box while making sure Michigan residents get the opportunity to exercise the right to vote. Michigan residents can be confident their vote truly counts. But as Secretary Johnson said, there is always room to improve the system. I've spoken with constituents and clerks back in my district, and they say there is strong support for these necessary common sense reforms to ensure secure and fair elections. Our local clerks want to do the best job they can, and it is our responsibility to give them the tools and resources they need. One of these tools is to provide a way to increase transparency surrounding new political parties. I am proud to sponsor legislation that will require more and earlier reporting for new political parties so that we can shed light on who is financing these efforts. This transparency is important because as voters carefully consider casting their votes, they deserve to know the facts about who supported placing the questions on the ballot in front of them. I am also sponsoring legislation to improve the process for submitting a ballot question by removing the risk that circulators face if the question is formatted incorrectly. If the format is incorrect, then signatures collected will no longer be valid. This will ensure that petitions comply with election laws before they are circulated. These legislative reforms and other reforms mentioned today will give Michigan citizens the information they need to feel confident when they head to the polls or have proposals they want to bring forward. They also give local clerks the resources they need to guarantee clean and legal elections. Secure and fair elections are essential to democracy. I look forward to continuing to work together with Secretary Johnson and my House and Senate colleagues on these important reforms. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Our next and last speaker is Mr. Dan Kruger. He serves as Ottawa County Clerk.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, we thank you for this legislation, and it only goes to show that county clerks, as you were one, have the ability to run elections and propose legislation that makes a safe election process. We look forward to working with you in this process in your efforts to enhance the qualified voter file and get those voter registrations that we need to off the record. We have a very strong system of elections in the state of Michigan. But we're always open to new ideas and proposals to make them even safer and more secure than we have now. Local clerks in Michigan have enjoyed a working relationship with the Secretary of State over the years. We continue to have that relationship with Secretary Johnson and with the legislature, and we look forward to working with all of you in the proposed passage of this legislation as well. Clerks in this state are dedicated to clean, fair, honest elections. I've worked with many of them over the years, and I can tell you that if there is one thing that they have on their minds, it is the fairness, honesty, and integrity of elections in the state of Michigan. We're constantly looking for better ways to improve, and these measures provide us with some of that. Again, thank you, Secretary and Legislature, for proposing these pieces.